Hello and welcome everybody to one of the first educational videos that I'll be posting on this channel. It's going to be one of my favorite setups that I like to look for in the mornings trading the small cap market, and that is the pre-market rally, or at least that's what I call it. I guess I got a little spark of motivation to make this video today, seeing how we have had VWAP give a very nice pre-market move, as you can see right here. So we're going to dive right into it. The scanner I use when looking for this setup is going to be the pre-market momentum scanner that I have right here using Trade Ideas. We can look at the settings I use for it on the summary. Stocks where the price is at least $1. Stock where the volume today is at least 2,000 shares. Stocks where the volume in the last minute is at least 300% of normal. So what this scanner basically does is it lets me know when we have a low float stock that has a volume spike that makes new pre-market highs. Okay, so that's what's going on there. Now I can scroll down on the pre-market momentum scanner and check out when I got my alert for VWAP. All right, we get the alert at 6:04. There it is right there. Got a little dip towards VWAP and then a move higher. And I'll get a little bit more into that in a minute. But first, we have to know what to look for whenever we get these alerts. All right. If you don't have the pre-market momentum scanner, if you don't have it, maybe just have a regular gap scanner or something else like that. What you want to make sure is the float. Right? I typically like under 20 million float. I think VWAP might have been 26 million actually, but typically I like it to be under 20 million. Definitely no more than 50 million. I also want it to be a stock that has a history of running. Now what I do to figure that out is I go to the daily chart, usually 5-year daily, and look at this indicator I have up here. Okay, this is the gap stats indicator. If you're interested in that indicator, you can comment and I'll tell you where you can go to get it. But it shows very important gap information. I'm not going to go too much in depth on this right now, maybe a different video. But all I really care about when I'm looking at this indicator this time of the day is going to be the gaps above 20%. As long as that number isn't 0, I'll say that it has ran in the past. You can also see this from the daily chart and these giant wick backs that it has ran in the past. So we got the float in check and the stock has a history of running in check. Another thing is I like to look for these on stocks that it's going to be day one on. Okay, day one as in the first day that's going to have very significant trading volume in quite a while. So if all those check out, I start looking at the level 2 and I start looking at the price action. Okay, so let me zoom in a little more again. So once again, just let me reiterate. Once we check the float is small, the stock has a history of running, and it's on day 1, that's whenever we look on a potential trade entry. All right. Now, a lot of people, I don't really know hardly any really big small cap traders who trade this setup on a regular basis, but the majority of them shy away from this setup because of they say that the volume is trash and the spread is trash, and it's just too risky. And that is true for the most part. On the majority of these stocks that start to spike pre-market, if you jump into them too soon, it's going to be very risky. The spread can be nuts, and you can lose money a lot faster than you can make it. So the key here is to be very patient. All right. Also, this is the only time I'm ever going to say it. Buying the breakout on these is going to be safest. All right. So the first thing we see once we see a stock that has the rest of our criteria is we get an upward move. Okay, and all of these, since my alert scanner gives me an alert whenever it's making a new pre-market high, we're gonna see that upward move first. First thing we need to do after that is we need to see the dip. All right, we need to wait for that first dip, and we want to see what happens on that first dip. Now, I like to also compare the volume on the sell candles versus the volume on the spike. All right, so on these first 4 candles, we have consistent buying volume on the way up. Then once the dip comes into play, you can see how much smaller the volume is on these red candles, especially when it gets towards VWAP, okay? I always want to see the VWAP hold pre-market. The reason for this is because typically when these insiders pump these stocks pre-market, they're using an algo. These algos like to go by the VWAP, all right? So if I see the spike, this consistent volume, and a very small amount of selling with the VWAP holding, it's a very strong indicator that this stock might be a runner, okay? So we see the spike, we wait for the first dip, we want to see that VWAP hold. We also want to make sure the spread is tight, all right? We want to be sure the tape is moving, that it's not stopping, or else the spread can typically loosen back up, and then price, you can end up going long in this area, and then price will just skip back on down to where it came from, and then you've gotten stuck in a big loss. Now, when I traded INVAX today, I did end up going long here at 725. I don't remember if it was on this green candle or this green candle. However, like I said, it is safest to wait for the breakout. This is going to save you, especially if you're new trading this setup. It's going to save you a lot of losses if you wait for confirmation that it's going to move higher. All right, you can start small on this breakout, and then add once you see another dip hold. Of course, that's a lesson for a different time. All right, so once you see these pre-market runners, it's going to seem pretty easy to hop in them given how easily they trend up. So identifying this part is going to be the most important part of this strategy, okay? Seeing this first move up, seeing the dip, watching the volume, make sure there's low amounts of sell volume with the tight spread, and the tape continues to move. All right, very important to ensure you aren't just jumping into every little pre-market spike, getting stuck into low volume, and getting tanked on. So that brings us to our next thing we need to talk about, which is much more important, is what to avoid. All right. We can check out, see, I already have it scrolled down to the bottom on the pre-market momentum scanner. And so that says 8:30 a.m. I don't know why it says 8:30 a.m. But we can check out what stocks popped up on the scanner that I saw before and after INVAX today, and why I didn't trade them. All right. So let me go ahead and pull up, let me blow up this chart now. The first thing that popped up on my scanner this morning is AOS. So we can check out what was happening pre-market today on that. So right off the bat, price is really high. I don't like that. And we didn't really get much action there pre-market, therefore I don't care about it. Next thing that popped up at 6 a.m. was LEDS. Now LEDS, right off the bat, I didn't like how it had that after hours action. All right, I liked for today to be day one. It kind of, wasn't that big a deal. And I still was actually considering taking a trade on the breakout here of 320. Now my alert came in at 6 a.m., which was right here. Had that volume spike, tried to break 320 and failed. All right, but I didn't give up on it just yet. You can see once it came back down to the VWAP, it did get a rejection with not a lot of volume on this sell candle. So once I saw that VWAP hold, it got my attention a lot more. And then we started getting another push back up towards 320. So then I was looking forward to buying this breakout, but we didn't get it and it failed. And then from then on, I didn't care about LEDS. So I said you gotta wait for those breakouts pre-market. You could have went long right here and looked for that breakout. Started small right here, and then got out for the break even when you saw a tank. That would have worked out too. It would have been a break even trade. It's really up to discretion in times like those. But like I said, I already didn't like it because of the after hours action. All right, next thing we have on our scanner came up was KMDA. Got that alert at 6 a.m. right on the dot, which was right there, just a little green candle. So I saw that spike, and then it gets a little low volume ticks, or just nothing happening here. So didn't care about that one. Next thing that popped up was INVAX. Like I said, at 604 right here, saw that nice gradual move up. All right, on pre-market runners, the move tends to always be gradual. It's just a very gradual move. It's your mind will kind of get an auto pattern recognition the more you look for them each day. But we got that gradual move, that gradual dip, low volume, and then continuation. Next thing we had was CBLI. Got the alert at 6:35, which was right here. So CBLI, got the alert, got another move up, and then we get these little ticks again. Right then and there, I stopped caring about it, and then that was the end of me looking at CBLI. See what else we got. It popped up. APT popped up. Got the alert at 6:54. And yeah, there was just nothing going on there, so I didn't care about it. And RMED. So you can see the pattern that we're looking at here, okay? There's a very clear difference between what we're looking at on these alerts and what we was looking at whenever we got the alert on INVAX. Okay, you need to recognize that. Because once you're in the moment and you see these little spikes, it's going to be very tempting to go long if you're trying to trade this setup. So you need to realize which ones actually have potential and which ones don't. Let's see what else we got. CSS popped up. Nothing going on there in CSS either, pre-market. Now we can look at one other actual pre-market runner that we got. That was APOP, I think about a week ago. APOP, another great pre-market runner that we got. This little red line was where I got my alert at, because it's a pain in the ass trying to set it back that far on my trade I did scan on the history. But I got the alert right here where this red line was. And then we see we had this move up. I wasn't too interested in it. at first not until I saw this big green candle come in, and then we got that breakout right there after the VWAP held. So if we get a nice bullish move after we get the VWAP hold, then that's a very good sign that the stock can be a runner. So that's pretty much it for the pre-market rally setup. It's a very simple setup. To be honest, what's important is you just simply avoid all of the fake runners, okay? You can see them a lot. You can see these stocks that just spike up randomly pre-market and the spread is loose. And it's very easy to hop into those and end up taking a loss. So really be sure, just listen back, watch this video over and over again to really memorize what criteria I laid out about the ones that can run and the ones that don't. And eventually you'll be banking on the next pre-market runner. So hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.